Police Brutality, Opposing Viewpoints, edited by Sheila Fitzgerald. There are many of these types of books. It's usually an argument, then counter-argument, and so forth. This one just happens to be police brutality. And before I start this video, I want to say that I am not anti-police. We need police. There's criminals who would love to abolish the police. But I think if something like that did happen, if there were no police, we would police ourselves. But the problem would be is that some drug lord or whomever with all the guns and all the ammo and all the troops would take over designated areas, and you'd have chaos beyond anything imaginable. So cops are needed. The kind of cops that I dislike are those who are arrogant and let their power go to their head and they bully people. There are many, many, many cops like this. So it's hard to say how many good ones there are opposed to how many bad ones. I would say that there's a lot more bad. And the good ones probably just turn a blind eye and they just do their job, even though they know bad things are happening. They just don't say anything. That's the problem with police culture. A lot of it has to do with the culture itself. So with that being said, I'm going to start this video. What did I learn from this book? And that's basically what I'm going to talk about now. Police brutality occurs on a regular basis. In fact, it's way more common than we know of. We see a lot of it on YouTube, hear a lot about it on the news, but what about the incidents that don't get reported? What about the beatings that aren't on camera? What about those? They're real. They happened. It's just that nobody knew about them except for the cop or several cops and the person they were beating. So these are the ones that don't get caught. They get away with it. A lot more of them probably get away with it than those who are caught. And also it's very hard to prosecute a cop. So, they do it again and again. Cops plant evidence. Now, they do this for a variety of reasons. One is that they have an arrest quota. Cops have to arrest so many people per month. They have to write out so many tickets per month. There's a lot to being a cop that we don't even know about. And like any other business, it's a business, a criminal business, or criminal justice business, there's a quota. There are things that have to be done in a certain amount of time in order to reach a goal or whatever. And that's how it is. It's a money-making scheme for sure. The criminal justice system is thriving, and it always will be. Cops shoot first and ask no questions because they are trained to shoot to kill. They always seem to spin the situation to blame the victim. Like, they mistook a cell phone for a gun. Or the person may have had a knife or didn't have a knife. But either way, I've seen these videos with someone with a knife, and cops just shoot these people to pieces. I don't see the point. I don't see why, other than just wanting to kill someone, I don't see why they would shoot somebody who have a knife. And maybe if the person were a threat and coming at them, possibly. But I would even say just wound the person, shoot them in the leg or something. I don't know. But they kill. Lethal force is a constant in American society. And like all other people, cops see movies, they listen to music, they are indoctrinated, so to speak, into this culture of violence. Cops are rarely indicted for murdering civilians, and this makes them more emboldened. They are rarely indicted because of qualified immunity. The job itself gives them immunity from prosecution. You know, some cops do get prosecuted, obviously, but most of them do not. Cops are permitted to speed, to trespass, rob, kill, while still cracking down on those who speed, trespass, rob, and kill. They crack down on those criminals even though they do those things themselves. It's just how it is, you know. Cops are prosecuted at times for sex-related behavior, for beating their wives. Cops have a high incidence of beating their wives. Spousal abuse is high among cops. Cops behave less like servants and more like masters. Now, cops are trained to take charge of situations, because if they didn't take charge of a chaotic situation, there would be even more chaos. And so they do take charge of things. But at the same time, cops take charge of people who are innocent and not doing anything wrong, but they will escalate a small situation and make it larger. Cops are good at escalating. That's what they do. Police misconduct is inclusive to planting evidence, making untrue statements, filing untrue written reports, condoning untrue statements or reports, by keeping silent, threatening suspects, arrestees, and witnesses. Cops have no qualms about arresting and convicting an innocent person. There are a string of false confessions, many volumes of false confessions that people have made and were convicted, spent time in prison, and were released. And some of those were not released. Some of these people died in prison. Internal department policies are often weak. Investigations are conducted poorly. Civilian review and boards are underfunded. Most of the time when a cop commits a crime, they are given a paid vacation and they spend time doing whatever they do while the internal affairs department fixes or tries to fix whatever it was. And that's how it usually goes. And then the cop comes back to work. The militarization of police causes a lot of police brutality. Cops adopt militaristic tactics, and citizens are brutalized as a result. Cops also have military hardware, including armored vehicles, grenade launchers, submachine guns, and explosive devices like flash grenades. These are not weapons that belong on city streets. These are military weapons. That's why the militarization of police is so dangerous to us. SWAT teams are trained by special forces. And on page 73, the author states, about half of SWAT team members get their training from active duty military personnel. Some of them from Navy SEALs or Army Rangers. Equipped with military-style weapons such as submachine guns with laser sights and sound suppressors, members of police SWAT teams dress in a way that they are difficult to distinguish from combat soldiers. I don't like the militarization of police. I don't think it's right. I think police should go back to the way things were before. before the militarization of things, before the tanks, before the Bearcat, before all of that. It's just too dangerous to have these kind of guys on streets with these type of weapons. The SWAT modus operandi is quick, violent, military-style confrontation. They smash front doors with battering rams and rush in with guns drawn, barking out orders and force everyone to get down on the floor to be handcuffed. This is what they call the dynamic entry. Pets are usually the first to die, whether they bark or not. Even little dogs, even little harmless dogs, puppies, are killed because they just happen to be there. Cops have even shot dogs who were in the backyard on a chain. I don't understand the whole killing pets thing, but that's what they do. Several authors offer solutions to police problems like community policing and video monitoring of police officers. And I agree with this. But the problem with community policing is that people in bad neighborhoods, they're not going to talk to cops. They don't want to be labeled as a snitch, because snitches get stitches and get thrown into ditches. Snitches are almost as vile as a pedophile in the hood. And so people aren't going to talk to cops. And as for the video monitoring, cops don't seem to really care about that. They have the video cams attached to them, but they still go off and beat people and do bad things. I don't think it even matters whether a cop has a camera attached to them or not. They just do whatever they want to do. So in conclusion, this is a good book to read if you're not familiar with police brutality, or you would like to read the opposing side, maybe the pro-cop side, then this is a book for you. But other than that, if you have already watched videos on YouTube about police brutality and things, so it won't be anything new. Anyway, talk to you later. Bye.